I love Undertale, and that's not an unpopular opinion. The game's got so many remixes, fan art, and shitposts, it seems like everyone loves it.
Wow, you're making a video on Undertale? You're 2 years late to the party.
Well, that's exactly why I'm making this video, because today, on September 15th, 2017, it's the 2-year anniversary of Undertale being released. And I thought, what better way to celebrate its second birthday than by making a video talking about all the awesome stuff packed inside. Also spoilers. Nowadays, it's impossible to enjoy Undertale the way it was intended because there's so many spoilers on the internet. Before you even touch the game, you probably already know who Frisk and Sans are. I got lucky because a friend sent me the demo before the game came out, and I thought it was mediocre. But then months later, when the full game came out, I fell in love with it. And before we begin, I'm only going to be talking about the game itself and not the fandom surrounding it. The whole game is $10 with no strings attached. Most AAA games these days are like $60 with a bunch of bullshit DLC. In Undertale, you don't need to spend any extra dough on the coolest weapons or pay up to get the true ending. You pay the cost of a Subway sandwich and get the whole package. When the game starts, you get a lore dump of this world. Humans and monsters used to live together in peace, but a war broke out and the humans kicked a ton of ass and sealed the monsters underground with a magic spell. When you start a new game, you're shown a typical enter your name screen a lot of RPGs have, but this one has all the characters shaking, which makes you feel a little off and uneasy. You start in a small empty room with one linear path to establish that this is you and this is how you move around. Also, there are some spaces that you cannot walk on. In the next room, you meet a character named Flowey the Flower who acts as the tutorial. The music played is really upbeat and calm, while Flowey's sprite is designed to look friendly and innocent. It's the perfect way of relaxing your mind and making you think this is gonna be one of those hold your hands, press A to win type of games. Flowey tells you that you need to chase after these nice friendliness pellets to gain love, and as you zone out in a state of rest, BAM! You get stabbed in the back as Flowey laughs at you and calls you an idiot. This does an amazing job of doing 3 things. It teaches you that in this battle sequence, you are a little red heart and touching white things is bad. 2. It shows that this game isn't gonna hold your hand, and blindly trusting strangers is bad. And 3. It shows that Flowey is a douchebag. Personally, I didn't really like the ruins that much. I thought the fight with Napstablook was funny, and I enjoyed the joke with the rock pushing puzzle, but I thought exploring the ruins was boring, and I thought the background textures as well as the enemy sprites were ugly. Once you reach Toriel's house, she gives you a pie, a room, and treats you like her own. It's really sweet and heartwarming until she pulls the classic "mother has a dark side and wants to keep you forever" cliche. So she forces you to fight her and prove you're strong enough to survive on your own. I really love how all of the choices you make in this game matter. This isn't like other games, where they pretend that your choices will have a lasting impact, but in reality they didn't matter. As I'm sure you're already aware, there are 3 main endings in this game: Pacifist, Neutral, and Genocide. If you kill one person in Pacifist, it's broken, or if you spare one enemy in Genocide, it doesn't work. Even the little choices you make, like calling Toriel at the start, or how you cooked with Undyne, get brought up at the end of the Pacifist route. If you spare Toriel, Flowey makes fun of you, and if you kill Toriel, Flowey mocks you for different reasons. If you kill Toriel but then decide to go back and correct your mistake, Flowey will mock you for cheating. Or if you spare her the first time but then decide to kill her just to see what would happen, there's totally new dialogue. I really adore Snowdin. You get to meet Sans and Papyrus, who are super charming and relatable. Papyrus reminds me a lot of myself when I was younger. He's kinda goofy and he's obsessed with capturing a human to become popular. He also gets mad at his brother for being lazy, which I do a lot. Papyrus is so nice and innocent. He's the only boss in the game who can't kill you. If you lose to him, he just locks you in his garage, which you can escape from easily. One complaint I do have is that I think Sans is kinda boring of a character. I mean, he's a good contrast to Papyrus, but at the start of the game, he doesn't do much besides tell puns, and that's it. Waterfall is a nice section of the game. The dark blue colors are very relaxing to look at. I really love Undyne's personality and boss fight. This section has the most badass song by far, Spear of Justice. How can you hear that and not get pumped up for a fight? Plus, the date with Undyne had me in tears laughing. I have mixed feelings about HOTLAND. I liked Metaton's character, but Alpheus was really annoying, especially when she kept updating her social media status. I get that it was supposed to be annoying because it's a jab at people who update their Twitter feed every 30 seconds, but goddamn is it frustrating to take a step, get an update, take another step, get another update again and again. It got to the point where I would just mash X and Z over and over again and not even read the dialogue. I really love the game show section because I straight up love game shows in video games. And I also love the part where Alpheus is directing you through the core but is kind of uncertain and doesn't really remember where everything is, like a friend who's helping you through a game they haven't played in a while. The game does a great job at introducing mechanics to you one at a time. In fights, you can always see the bullets coming towards you in advance, and they follow very predictable paths, so you never feel cheated or like you had no other choice but to lose. I also like that even though you aren't supposed to fight in this game, the fighting option still feels fun. It's just a bar that slides across a scale, and you have to time it right to do the most damage. It's simple, but not so easy it's boring, since the direction of the slider as well as its speed change. I really love how the world building is handled in this game. Everything feels very real, like no region is in a vacuum. For example, the spiders are trapped in the ruins because Snowdin is closing them in, and if they tried to leave, they'd freeze to death. The ice from Snowdin is used to cool the core in HOTLANDs. Toriel lives in the ruins, which is right next to Snowdin where Sans lives, so they became friends by telling knock-knock jokes to each other. And Snowdin and HOTLANDs are separated by waterfall, unlike other games where you can just have a desert right next to a snowy forest. It's clear that a lot of thought was put into this world. So, this is it. You're finally gonna reach Asgore. Toriel warned you about Asgore, saying he's dangerous. Monster Kid tells you about Asgore and says he's friendly. And Undyne says he's nice but tough like a fatherly figure. This entire 10-hour adventure, they never show who Asgore is. It gives you a lot of time to sit on it and create images and theories in your mind of what he looks like. Maybe he's a monster. Maybe he's a machine. And when you finally reach him, it's just this sweet old goat man sitting in a flower field. You expect him to immediately attack you with full force, but instead he just talks to you. He seems disappointed, like neither of you want to fight each other, but you both know you don't have any other choice. He shows you the barrier that separates the monsters from the surface and the 6 human souls. He says goodbye and busts out a red trident. I know that might not seem like much, but this entire game, every enemy you faced has been white, and this guy whipping out a red weapon was really intimidating. Then he smashes the mercy button to symbolize this is a fight to the death. Only one of you is gonna leave here alive. No matter what item you use or how many times you try to talk to Asgore, it does not work. Which is a nice lesson teaching us that you can't always talk your differences out, and sometimes you have no other choice but to fight back. After you win, you're presented with the choice of either finishing him off or sparing him. This is a powerful moment because it gives you the option to either kill him and complete this quest you've come so far to go home, or show mercy because killing people is bad. Either way, Flowey finishes him off and steals the human souls, crashing the game. When I first saw this, my mind was blown. I'd never seen any game do this, and it really makes Flowey feel like a bigger threat than any other. Then he destroys your save file and turns into this crazy, disgusting monster that kicks your ass again and again while mocking you. This is the only time in the game where something appears that isn't pixel art. It's legitimately terrifying. Not only that, but this is the only battle in the game that isn't turn-based. It's 100% bullet hell until the attack button appears. But when you do, it does 1 damage out of like a billion to help further emphasize how powerful Flowey is. But the souls rebel and Flowey is defeated. You can either murder Flowey and get revenge for all the times he killed and mocked you, or you can show mercy in the hopes that he can reform, hoping that deep down inside he could be nice, and the worst person can be good if they just try. If you mercy him, he keeps threatening you over and over again. But if you hit the fight button once, it kills him instantly, showing that it's easy to seek out revenge and hatred, but forgiving someone who's hurt you is really, really hard. The first time I played this, the friend who introduced me to Undertale told me you have to play the whole game without killing anybody to get the best ending, and this Flowey choice had me torn. I wanted to kill him so badly for all the pain he's put me through, but I also wanted to mercy him and give him a shot at redemption. After all the threats and his creepy ass destroyed face, I took the plunge and finished him off. His last words were, "I knew you had it in you," which gave me a Vietnam flashback to the start of the game when he says,
"What will you do when you meet a relentless killer? You'll die and you'll die and you'll die until you tire of trying. What will you do then? Will you kill out of frustration?"
And I realized, he was right. I did kill out of frustration. I gave up on him, and I took another life even though I promised not to. And if you reset the game, Flowey stays dead. The game doesn't need to threaten you with any, "if you kill people you'll go to jail" warning. The act of Flowey simply not being where he usually is enough to make you say, "What the fuck? Flowey, where are you? You're supposed to be here and you're not here." I actually miss Flowey, which teaches the lesson that you need to be careful of what you wish for, and if you kill someone, they're gone for good. You can't undo who you are. But if you do spare Flowey, then he comes back at the end of the game with a message. He asks you, "Why did you let me go? Don't you realize that being nice just makes you get hurt?" And he tells you if you go hang out with your friends in the underground, it'll unlock the true pacifist ending. One thing I don't like is that if you kill Flowey, there's no way you can know about the true pacifist ending other than by looking it up or a friend telling you. It's bad design because the people who kill Flowey are the ones who need his advice the most. I really like how this game incentivizes players to not kill people. In order to pull off a proper genocide run, you need to grind. A lot. As in, you need to walk in circles over and over again until each area runs out of enemies for you to kill. When you go to all the different towns, instead of having them be filled with happy music and silly characters, they're totally empty and quiet because everyone's run away from you or died. It's pure genius. When I first started this game, I disliked the fact that you look straight at your enemies when you're fighting. I'd rather it be from a side view like other RPGs I'm used to. But now, I actually prefer this way more. Because when you kill people, you're the one doing it, and you need to look them in the eyes as they die. It's a way of saying, the character isn't killing them, you are killing them, because you're the one controlling Frisk. When you reach Papyrus, he believes in you, and hopes that deep down, you're a good person. You get the option to either spare him and turn this into a neutral run, or kill him and move on. Undyne turns into her Dragon Ball Z final form, which is way harder. And after that, you one-shot kill every other boss except for Sans. Flowey approaches you and talks to you about how much he loves you. He thinks you're awesome, but then realizes there's a chance that you'll kill him and becomes terrified of you. Next, Sans stops you in the Judgment Hallway. What I really like about the Sans fight is that this is by far the hardest boss in the game. It's telling you, hey man, you really shouldn't finish this run. If you turn back and reset, we can all forget this ever happened. I also like how Sans is a parody of other boss fights in how he actually dodges your blows, and he uses his most powerful attack first instead of saving it for the end. After Sans is defeated, Flowey kills Asgore for you in the hopes that it'll get you to show mercy for him. But he realizes you're a stone-cold killer and ends up crying out, "Please don't kill me!" Only to be met with one of the saddest deaths in video game history. Then Chara shows up and tells you that this entire time you've been killing innocent people, they've been growing stronger and stronger, and now they're so powerful they can destroy the universe. The only way you can restore the world to its former glory is by selling your soul. And from that point on, all your true pacifist runs will be tainted. It's another way of saying your choices will haunt you. And if you make mistakes, you can't hit an undo button and make everything all better. The pacifist ending of Undertale is a true work of art. I mean, it's basically like a really long cutscene, but the game does a good job at making you feel like it's not a cutscene. After you've built friendships with all these characters, they all meet up and introduce themselves to each other. But while you guys are having your high school reunion, Flowey uses the 6 human souls to trap your friends. He tells you he's not gonna let you leave, because if you have your happy ending, you'll win the game. And if you win the game, he won't be able to spend time with you. So he'll keep you trapped here forever and keep killing you over and over again millions of times non-stop. When things seem to be at their worst, your friends save you and manage to overpower him. Everything seems to be going amazing until Flowey uses the power of the humans to stop you and absorb everyone's souls. This is when he goes into his final form, as Real Dreamer, and wants to reset the entire world back to square one. You try to save your file, but you can't, so instead you save your friends. Get it? All the monsters are in the state they were at the start of the game. Papyrus wants to capture a human, Sans has no hope, and Alpheus has low self-esteem. Until you remind them of your adventures together, and the memories come flooding back. Not only for the characters in the game, but also you, since you get reminded of all the awesome stuff you did with these characters. It acts as a great recap. Finally, you save Asriel and his memories come flooding back too. The truth is, he was beaten to death by humans, he lost his friend, and he had no soul to feel any sympathy for others. He's just a scared little kid who wants to spend more time with his best friend. That's why Asriel is the most human and relatable character in Undertale. It's really sad, so you forgive him and give each other a hug. Then he uses the power of every monster and human to break open the barrier, which lets all the monsters live on the surface. One thing I thought was kind of weird that they never really explained was when the monsters go to the surface, the humans just kind of accept it and don't start a World War II against them. After the credits roll, if you relaunch the game, you get one final decision. You can either let Frisk be happy and not touch the game anymore, or you can reset the game and spend more time with the friends you've made. Ironically, that's exactly what you were fighting against. That's why you stood up to Asriel, because he wanted to reset the game and spend more time with you. And in order for you, the player, to spend more time with your loved ones, you'll also have to reset the game. It's a powerful message about acceptance and moving on. So let's recap. The choices matter, the music rocks, the jokes are hilarious, the gameplay is fun, the horror is terrifying, the emotional parts are tear-jerking, and the moral lessons are executed perfectly. I'm so happy I got to experience Undertale mostly spoiler-free because it truly is a masterpiece. Do I think it's the best game ever? No, but it's definitely up there. I'm so glad this game blew up and touched the hearts of so many people. I know it sounds cheesy, but seeing all these people come together and make fan art and remixes together really does fill my heart with determination.
Seriously? You're ending the video on that? That was so freaking cheesy and predictable.
Really? How would you end it?
I don't know, by telling them to go check out my video on my channel. I hate Undertale.
Wait, so this was a collab the entire time?
Yeah, my Undertale video is way better. It actually, like, holds up on its own and stuff. I make way better arguments in that one than you did in this one. Come on.
I don't believe that for a second. I bet if the audience went to your channel right now and watched it, they would agree that mine is way better. In fact, I challenge you right now, everyone watching, go check out his lame video, then come back and comment about how amazing this one was.